We all have to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, see things through their eyes, and then get to work fixing our very wounded country. There is no right to engage in violent disruption or to threaten the public safety and peace of others. Every single American in our country is entitled to live in a safe community.
Deneen Borelli is chief political correspondent for Conservative Review and a Fox News contributor. Bernard Whitman is a former Bill Clinton pollster and CEO of Whitman Insight Strategies. Thanks to both of you for joining us.
Thank you.
Deneen, let me start with you. What did you think of what Donald Trump said there?
Well, listen, I thought Trump's comments were very measured. He was on point, and he was talking about the importance of the safety and security of communities, especially black communities, where violence, unfortunately, is through the roof, crime is through the roof. And, you know, I lay blame with the high stake in violence and crime on the fact that progressive policies have failed these communities for many, many years. And so I think his comments were very measured, very true. Safety and security, that's one of his pillars for his presidential campaign.
Bernard, he said walk a mile in someone else's shoes, you know, putting himself in the shoes. I mean, I guess it depends how you look at it. To me, it sounded like he was talking about putting your feet in the shoes of the victim. He could also be talking about what it's like to be a police officer, but for him, that was very empathetic.
I feel like this was a deathbed conversion. I mean, this flies in the face of a year and a half of the most racially divisive, negative,
so he gets no
discriminatory rhetoric. No, I mean, it just does not jive with the last year and a half of his campaign of pitting one group against another, of a well-documented pattern of engaging in housing discrimination as a businessman, of calling Mexicans rapists and drug dealers and murderers, of discriminating against huge populations, of inciting violence at rallies from his own stage. I mean, this does not square with Donald Trump. We've all grown to be unbelievably scared that he could be president of the United States.
Deneen, how do you respond to that?
Doesn't square.
Listen, from what I have seen in terms of Donald Trump running his campaign, he is someone that is an outsider, and he is looking to turn our country around, and he is especially addressing problems that are prevalent.
I got to step in for 1 second. I am so sorry to interrupt you, but the North Carolina's Governor, Pat McCrory, is holding a news conference on the situation in Charlotte. Let's listen in. Let's bring our panel back in. Deneen Borelli is chief political correspondent for Conservative Review, and a Fox News contributor. Bernard Whitman is with us as well, a former Bill Clinton pollster. What did you think of that? Deneen, I'll start with you.
Well, I think his message was very direct and much needed for this community. People need to understand that law and order and safety is of the utmost importance. They're also bringing in additional resources. But people cannot just take to the streets and be violent because of certain situations that happen in their communities. There are better ways to take care of these incidents when they happen, and violence is not the answer. Yeah. And so safety, security, law enforcement, that's the right message that the governor delivered.
Bernard, what do you think?
I mean, I would agree with Deneen in the fact that situations like this, as tragic as they are never an excuse for people to wage violence and commit additional crimes. I think his statement, though, was notable in things that he didn't address. For example, what actually happened that night when the guy was killed? I think there's a lot of questions about why we haven't seen the tape of that. He made reference slightly to someone's going to be looking at that, but I think the public is clamoring to know there's two very different stories, and I think the quicker the police can get out and get the video of what happened out to clarify for the audiences, I think that's going to bring calm. And also, I think you have to ask yourself, we had very, very different reactions in Tulsa and Charlotte. Why is that? I think it underscores the need to get out and have way more training with the police to work with the communities to keep our people safe and institute plans like Hillary Clinton has talked about to require all police officers to wear body cameras. And this is common sense stuff.
Yep, absolutely. All right, thanks to both of you.